Okay, welcome back to the part 2 of the class. So the next one we'll be talking about is the types of data. Okay. Is the types of data. So there are types of data analytics. Basically, data analytics has 4 basic types, and these are just these basic types of data analytics are what is just like a must know for you as a data analyst. You must have to understand this to know what type of analysis am I doing, what stage of analysis is this, and what analysis am I to carry out, something like that. So the first one is what I call the descriptive analytics, which is basically the fact. Second one is diagnostic analytics, which is the insights. Third one is predictive analytics, which is known as forecasting or forecast. The last one is prescriptive analytics, which is known as recommendation. That is a point of, I prefer to call it a point of sellout, where you prescribe or recommend solutions to your audience or business owners. Now, the descriptive analytics helps to answer questions about what happened based on historical data. That is, this particular type of analytics uses information that has been in existence to answer the question of what happened or what have happened. So there's no way this analysis could exist if something does not happen or if something that have not existed. So the need for this analysis wouldn't have taken place if there's nothing that has been happening or nothing have happened, something like that. So this one type of analysis actually uses information that has been in existence. That is, it does analysis based on facts. There's no fake in here. Like I just let's for instance now, an incident occurred here and you get yourself involved. You don't just come to say things you don't know. You say things based on what you see that happened or based on what happened there. So that means there must be something that happened before you could say anything in this particular type of analytics. Example of it is trying to know the number of Facebook views that's gone up, or asking questions like, have the Facebook views gone up? Are sales stronger than this month than last month? Based on the sales records you have with you. For you to ask this question, you already have the record of this month and last month for comparison or to compare. For you to ask questions like, have the number of Facebook views gone up? You must have already gotten the number of Facebook views in the previous post and the current post to compare. You don't use this kind of statement on a predictive analytics. Predictive analytics must be futuristic in nature. But this kind of question is not a futuristic question. Rather, it's asking question based on what is at hand. You understand? So questions like this are fact, based on fact. Tell me the fact. Let's know the fact. Now, diagnostic analytics, which I said is the insight, asks questions of why, Yes, if Facebook numbers of Facebook views has gone up, why? Why the number of Facebook view is higher than in this post preferred to the previous post? Why? At the period or the process of you trying to know the reason why this particular post has more Facebook view than the previous one, this is the ability of you trying to discover the cause of the effect. That is the cause of the problem. In this point, you start thinking, trying to brainstorm, bring up some logical reasons. You understand? So at that point, it becomes what we call the insight, because that is where your brain starts working. What could be the cause of this? You start reasoning, you start explaining, you start comparing, at that point, you are being rational, trying to bring up something reasonable that can be used or that can be anchored on this. That is the cause of the reason why Facebook views pushed up than the current post, something like that. Same on the second question that says, are sales stronger than this month? Are sales stronger this month than last month? So it's from here you also know, you ask question of why is this current sales stronger than the last month? What did this current product offer to customers, or what does the manager employ to make this current month better than the last month? What strategy was adopted, this and that? This is what we call insights, or what we know as diagnostic analytics. So in this case now, diagnostic analytics focuses more on why something happened. This involves diverse data inputs and a bit of hypothesizing it. Example, why did Facebook view go up? Did the weather affect soft drink sales? What did that last marketing campaign impact sales? If yes, why? So these are questions of why, always question of why. The third one now is the predictive analytics, which is also what I call forecasting. The predictive analytics helps to answer question about the future. That is, answer question about what would happen in the future. Example is, this is number of Facebook views to expect next month. This statement is a futuristic statement. It's different from, have the number of Facebook views gone up? And it's also different from, why did? So this is like the first statement is like an objective. The second statement is like a research question. Why the third one now is like a hypothesis. So the sales next month will increase by 60% based on prediction. So these are futuristic statements, or statements that will happen in long run. Now, prescriptive analysis, which is also known as recommendation. Okay, I said the predictive analytics is known as a forecast. This is a predictive analytics which helps answer questions of what happened. That is, it looks at the future. Like, it asks question of what about what would happen in the future. And also, I said the descriptive analytics here, the question it asks here, that is, have the number of Facebook views gone up, is like objective, stating a specific objective for a case study. Diagnostic analytics there is like a research question, while the predictive analytics is like an hypothesis, trying to know the outcome of this particular question or this particular objective in the long run. So it must be futuristic. It's just like when a doctor prescribes drugs for, or okay, let's say it's just like when a patient gets to a hospital and tell a doctor that I'm sick of this particular illness and all that. And after, the doctor will not just go in to give you drugs. The patient just did what is called description. That is by describing the sickness he or she has to the doctor. The next thing that will be done is diagnostic analytics. For a better confirmation, doctor will diagnose this person to know what exactly is the cause of this particular sickness. You understand? So after that, or that is a period whereby they will tell you, bring your this, bring your that, let me do lab, something like that. After that, after getting to know why those things happen, doctor will prescribe or wants to treat you now and also again in the future for the occurrence of that particular sickness or symptom. So they will prescribe drugs for you and be telling you take it 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the night, this and that. Just not because they just prefer to be giving you like that, but they just want to cure you and also prevent it for the future. So they look at the future before prescribing the drugs to you or giving you the drug, something like that. So in that case, is what we talk about is the prescriptive analytics and the predictive analytics. Why did the prescriptive analytics now looks at answering the questions about what action to be taken to achieve the goal? That is the point where you are giving solutions, giving decisions. So example is in the likelihood, that is by probability of a 60% increase in sales, two more persons should join the customer service team and increase inventory of the highest selling product by 60% to meet demand. And all these are just a point of sellout. That is giving solution to organization to make them better off from where they were or what they are before now. So that is just it. So these are basic tools used in data analytics. So you could use any of these: Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets, SQL, that is SQL or MySQL. Any of these can be used. And any of these also, these are certificate and all that. The data analytics process. Google Sheet is actually the same as this Excel of 18, but it has a limitation. Excel is more advanced. You understand? You can use Google Sheet. It's similar to Excel spreadsheet. It's like a spreadsheet. You understand? A spreadsheet. But Excel has an advanced features and all that. So that's why Excel is highly recommended. And if I'm not mistaken, 90% of organizations globally uses Excel. You understand? So Excel is highly recommended. So this is actually data analytics process. These are like a procedure, the steps that must be taken to get it done, to get the data analytics done as a data analyst. So now there are basically 5 steps. One is what we call data preparation. 2 is data modeling. That is modeling data. 3 analyzing data, that is data analysis. 4, data visualization, that is visualizing data. And 5, preparation of dashboard. 1 again is data preparation. 2, data modeling. 3, analyzing data, that is data analysis. 4, visualization of data, that is visualizing data. And 5, preparation of dashboard. These are just the process you have to understand in data analytics. So with this, you can do virtually everything in data. With this procedure, you can do everything in data. Now, the data analytics, together with the client, have to set objective. That is the end goal of the organization, what the organization would want to gain from analyzing the data, or what the organization wants the data analyst to do for them, which is what we know here as an end goal. So the client must have to set the objective in consonance with the DA, the data analyst. Define the problem statement clearly for the data analyst, or together with the client. They must do this to the better understanding of the data analyst so that he can carry out his or her work. Then the data analyst is expected to ask the right questions to the client in order to gather the proper information needed for his or her work. Understanding the data requirements. Understanding the data requirement, that is what is needed of. Now, the next one is to get the data after all these things have been put in place. Get data or create data. I say getting the data is only on the situation whereby the data is already in their management system, that is their database, or if it's an organization that does not have data stored for themselves, but they actually want you to do an analysis for them. It is expected of you to create data yourself through maybe issuing questionnaire or personal interview or one-on-one questioning and other, whichever way you could do it, or use through the Google form, whichever way you could do it to gather a vital information for your analytics, you should do that. Confirming the integrity of the data. Confirming the integrity of the data is like you trying to confirm or ensure that the data meets all the data analyst criteria, that is the data quality dimensions, that this data meets all the criteria that are supposed to be met. If yes, they meet all the criteria, you are good to go. But if no, you ensure that the data is so like I said, so the procedures in data analytics are just 5. The preparation of data, the modeling of data, the analyzing of data, visualizing of data, and preparation of dashboard. These are just the basic steps you need to understand very, very well, because these alone summarize everything you need to know as a data analyst. These are just the procedure you should be following in analyzing your work. How to prepare data, how to model data, how to analyze it, how to visualize it, and how to build a report. These alone, you are done with what you are doing. Everything you'll be learning here is summarized under these 5 steps. So it's very important to understand this. Number 1 is preparation of data. Number 2 is modeling data. Number 3 is analyzing data. 4 is visualizing data. And the 5th one is preparation of dashboard, that is reporting. So, and I said, the client, that is the person that might call you for your work, the client is expected to build the objective with the data analyst. for a better understanding, define the problem statement with the knowledge of a data analyst so that it will be simple for the data analyst to understand what he or she needs to do. Asking the right question is expected of from a data analyst. So because it's from here, if the objective has been created, then they define the problem statement clearly. The data analyst could ask a right question in order to collect information or collect data for his or her work. Understanding the data requirements, what and what is needed for this particular data given to me. What type of analytics am I to do? Is it a sales analytics? What data did they give to me? What data am I looking for? Or what information am I looking for again? If you could understand this requirement, data requirements, you know that yes, you are good to go. The next thing is to go and get the data. Getting the data comes in different form. Like I said before now, getting the data is basically if the data is already stored in their management system or in their storage, data storage or something like that, you go and source this data. But if not, and you are still expected to do analysis for them, but they doesn't have any management system, they doesn't have any storage for their information, they don't keep record of their business transactions and all that, you're expected to do analysis based on what you were told, and such analysis information can be collected in the organization. What you need to do is to create data, not getting data. You can only get data if the data is stored already in the system. But if the data is not stored in the system, you create data in that period. So in that case is when you use either primary or secondary form of data collection to gather or create your data. You know, primary data collection is the use of getting information direct from the source, one-on-one interview, through questionnaire, you can use Google form and all that. The secondary aspect of it is you trying to go and get the information on website and all that. So, and I said, if it is not found on website and all that, or in any data management system, you create it. That is using the primary form of data collection. Confirming the data integrity, that is integrity of data, simply means you should ensure that the information given to you or information you are collecting from this organization are authentic. You should ensure that they meet the data quality dimensions. They meet the criteria of data before you as a data analyst is expected to use this data to do anything. So before now, I told us there are 8 basic data quality dimensions, 8 DQDs. And I mentioned few, and I allow us to go and get the rest, take time to study it. Number 1 there is uniqueness. The data must be unique. The data must be unique. Then number 2 there is validity. Make sure that the information you are collecting from anybody is valid. It must be valid. The number 3 there, it's consistency. The data must be consistent in nature. For instance, if maybe you're analyzing the company's revenue and you are seeing that the money over time has been 6 digits, or maybe the money has been expressed with naira. Out of 20 rows of data you have, you saw 15 to be in naira. All of a sudden, you start seeing maybe the remaining 5, the currency changed to dollar. You don't continue to work with such data. Ensure to ask questions and get the proper reason why it was changed to dollar from naira, because naira has been the best currency they've been using before time all through. Just you notice it just now that they use a different currency. So just ask a proper question: why was this currency changed to a different currency? They will give you a proper reason why such thing was done, it is advisable for you to pen it down as a data analyst. This is what we call dictionary. It's part of what we call dictionary. Keeping it for your own safety, because tomorrow can come when you'll be called for defense. Maybe come and you did analysis for something, and this thing, it was the major reason why we called you for the analysis, and you still did not discover it. And we found out that what you told us that happened was not what we found out, something like that. So that you could defend yourself and say, this is what you were told by so person or by the HR, that what, something like that. So it is called dictionary. You're expected to pen it down somewhere or document it somewhere as part of your work. When presenting it, you present both that those reasons given to you to justify the data will also be handed over to the organization for your own safety. Another one is completeness. The data must totally be complete. If 30% of the data given to you are found missing out of 100%, you as a data analyst, you are not expected to work with such data. Demand for the remaining data or cancel the analysis. Demand for them to complete it or cancel the analysis. For instance, out of 10 rows of data, 5 columns, you are seeing, I'd say 30%. You are seeing 6 rows of data, 4 rows are missing. You don't work with such information because there's nothing you put in that remaining 4. So it's left for you to ask questions, reasonable questions of how and what happened to the remaining 4 rows. They must have to tell you reasonably what happened to it, or if that data is original like that. If you fail to do all this and go on to do such work, finally put yourself in problem, you go in for it, something like that. So you must represent yourself professionally in what you do, because you are not just a roadside data analyst. You actually know what you are doing, something like that. So you must get to know or confirm the data integrity. So on your own personal self, browse about the 8 quality dimensions, 8 DQDs. 8 DQDs. 8 data quality dimensions. Okay, this is like okay, this is actually a PDF. I don't need PDF. I don't need PDF. So just on your own, okay, this is what I'm looking for. Just browse it. I believe you can see. So this is it. Just on your own, browse this. We have accuracy. The data must be accurate. It's part of it. On your own, study it. Write it out, study it. We have completeness, we have timeliness, validity, uniqueness, and what have you, consistency, and all that. Make sure you study that and make yourself better. Now, another thing is, after you might have gotten the data or created the data, the next thing is to transform and clean the data. That is part of preparation of data. All these things are preparation of data. I always tell my students that preparation of data takes account of 60% of the whole procedures in data analytics. Preparing data, making it ready for analysis takes account of 60%. The rest can be taken care by the remaining 10%. Since we have 5 here, This takes account of 60% because you need a proper understanding here. The rest could be 10% because it doesn't take even much time to do analysis. Once you understand what you are doing and you know what you're about to do, it doesn't take you much time. So the next one is transform and clean the data. The data you collect or you create must come in a dative form. You will still need more columns to be added to the data or remove some columns that are not needed for the information or for the analytics. All these things are what we call transform. Removing an unwanted rows and columns is what we call cleaning. Part of this process is also known as ETL. ETL is like a terminology or a data language used to represent the word transform, extract, transform, and load. You know, the word transform and cleaning data is like a general word, a universal word that every other person knows. So, but if you say ETL is like a data language for data analysts, that means the same thing as cleaning. So the word ETL simply means extract, transform, and load data. So you only extract data from a large data farm, that is a large data storage. You extract data from there, transform it, that is clean it, make it ready for analytics, and load it for analytics. That is, loading it is like getting it prepared, is ready for analytics. Okay, thank you so much. Do join my next class. Please don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll give you a notification, turn off your notification button so that whenever I make a post,